G'day guys, Chaos Chronicles. Righto, so I've made mention in a couple of videos that I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis whilst I was in prison. So all right, let's get into that. So it was when I got my 9-year sentence, and it was before I got that, and I was actually on remand. So remand is when you get locked up straight from the police station and you're not given bail. So you're still a prisoner, but you're a remand prisoner, not a sentence prisoner. So anyway, at this jail, Metropolitan Remand Centre, or MRC, you're allowed to play football there. And so there's 3 yards there: A yard, B yard, and C yard. And it's generally just A and B yard because B and C yard, because A yard at the time was mainly like regimes and just naughty units. So they were very rarely allowed to play. But anyway, so we were doing that weekend in, weekend out. We were playing a lot, and it's something that everyone gets into, which is really good. It gives you something to look forward to. And so, yeah, I'm playing football this one day, and I had the ball, and I was running with the ball. One bounce, took another bounce, and went to take the kick. And when I went to move my leg back to kick the football, it just didn't work. I can't explain it, but my leg went back like that, but I couldn't lift it up, and it was really weird. And I kind of brushed it off and thought nothing of it. I thought it could have been anything, I definitely wasn't thinking that it was multiple sclerosis, that's for sure. And so, yeah, fast forward the next week, the same thing happened again, but it happened a couple of times. And then another time I was at the gym and I was doing some arm curls on the machine arm curls, so which is cables. And so anyway, I got it, lifted it up, and then my arms just gave way, and it was like a feeling I can't explain. It was random as. And then anyway, one of my mates at the time was actually a doctor in the army. And so, yeah, I'm explaining things to him, and he's like, yeah, it sounds like you probably need to get, checked out. It could have been from anything. I've had 100 knocks in the head in my life, so it could have been anything, And so anyway, I was actually at the time having bladder troubles. And when I say bladder troubles, I was having to pee 20, the most times I counted was 27 times in one day. And so I went and seen the doctor, and I told him about what's been going on. And he goes, oh, okay. And then he was asking me a few other questions. I can't really remember what they were. But anyway, what he basically did, he booked me in for an ultrasound to have on my bladder, and he booked me in for an MRI scan on my head. And everything takes time in jail to get to hospital and whatnot. So anyway, I remember it took maybe 2 months to get to jail, and in that time I'd had more I won't say, yeah, well, I did. I had more symptoms, and I was starting to forget words, words that I knew that I'd go to speak, and I'd be like, what the hell? And a lot of you guys will probably notice sometimes I kind of just stop dead mid-sentence. It's because I forget what I'm talking about and have to recuperate, And so, I go in on that day, and I have the MRI scan done, and I have the ultrasound done on my bladder. And I didn't get called up. I remember it was 9 months. So I'm asking the doctors all the time, and in this time, all these things are happening. Now I'm starting to lose the use of my right leg on a regular basis. And so anyway, I get called down to the medical office, and I hate being down there. And it's like being at the dentist, And so anyway, I get called up. I walk in, the doctor's like, close the door behind you, regular procedure. And so I walked over to his desk, and I'm standing there, and he said, oh, sit down, mate. And I said, no, I'm right, I'll stand up, He goes, no, mate, you're going to want to sit down for this. And I was like, what the hell? And so, I could never have imagined to get the information that I was going to get. It just was so far out of my realm of possibilities. And so anyway, he goes, look, I've got your results here for both your ultrasound and your MRI scan. And I was like, oh yeah. And he goes, all right. He goes, so your ultrasound's come back for your bladder. Now, cancer's big in my family, and like, you know, my poor mum is going through her 5th, I think, cancer at the moment. You know, it's big in our family, and so like I was worried that it was going to be like prostate cancer or something like that. That's why I was peeing a lot. And so he said, look, your ultrasounds have come back normal, but your MRI scan. And I was like, what the hell? And I was like, oh damn. And like, so glad I sat down. And then he goes, look, we've found 7 or 8 spots of grey matter in your brain, like just opened with that. And I was like, what the hell? And like, so in my head straight away, like I was worried about that I had something wrong with my bladder, like that I had cancer. And yeah, the last thing I literally, all I thought was, oh my God, I've got brain tumours. Like that's the words that were ringing through my head was brain tumours, brain tumours, brain tumours. And I said, look, man, what does that mean? I said, do I have brain tumours? And he goes, this is his exact words. He goes, look, mate, I'm not a neurologist, so I literally don't know what that means. And I'm like, wait, you called me down here to tell me that I had something wrong with me that was serious, and you don't know what it is. Like, you can't tell me. He said, that's basically exactly what's happened. And then I said, so what happens now? He goes, so we've already booked you in to see the neurologist at St. Vincent's Hospital. So when you're in jail, if you need to go to hospital, you just do a prison escort. So like, instead of going on the bus, they have these little secured vans that they take you in. It's got little cages inside. You're fully locked in. And they said, look, we're going to take you to St. Vincent's. And I was like, oh yeah, when am I going there? Tomorrow? And they go, no, you're going to have to wait. And I was like, what do you mean wait? And and then I remember it was literally like 6 months before I started doing more tests. So I started having more tests. I had a lumbar puncture done. If you know what that is where they stick that needle in your spine. I had numerous MRI scans done, and then yeah, just had all these other like nutrition tests and rah. And I never thought like that I was going to have multiple sclerosis. Like, other than doing the MS readathon at school, I'd never heard of it. Other than one of my best friends' wife's mum's got it. And like, other than that, it was unheard of and just so far out of my realm of possibilities. And, you know, in one of my appointments, I said, look, you've got to tell me what's going on. Do I have cancer? And they said, look, no, you don't have cancer. That's as much as we can tell you right now. And I was like, what the hell? They're like, look, we have got an appointment for you in 2 weeks, which is a big jump from months and months. So, yeah, I went back there and, you know, I'd finished all my testing, and she said, what do you think's going on? And I'm like, man, I don't fucking know. I'm like, you're scaring the shit out of me, but like, because of all the appointments I had and with neurologists and neurosurgeons and all this shit. And I was like, whoa, man, what is going on? And the lady goes, look, we're almost certain that you've got multiple sclerosis. And I'm like, no, I don't. I don't have multiple sclerosis. No way. I'm like, that's for old people, isn't it? Because that's what I thought. And the lady's like, no. She goes, but look, you really have lucked out. Like 78% of the people that get it are over the age of 65. And 72% of the people that get it are female. So I kind of really did luck out there. And then I guess from then on, it was just more and more testing to see what type of multiple sclerosis that I have. And at the time, I was in Scarborough South. And for those of you that know, it's probably not the best unit to be in. And at the time of my final test, I was on a walking stick. I had almost completely lost the use of my right leg. And so I had to battle to get a walking stick, and I'm so glad they did. It was the best weapon to have. But like, I could hardly stand up, so it would have been useless. But yeah, and then so I basically got initially tested with relapsing remitting multiple sclerosis, which is basically the most common diagnosis, what everyone gets diagnosed with first, and then it's all a matter of how fast it's progressing and whatnot. And then we had more tests, and over the years I realized that I believe it's called remitting relapsing progressive MS. It's those words in there anyway, but I have progressive MS, so it does get worse. And like my left leg's shaking right now while I'm doing this video, but like, yeah, it was a kick in the pants, and I was like, wow, I'd never met anyone in my life. I don't know my mate's wife's mum, and like, so I'd never met anyone, and then you'll never believe it. So I was in Scarborough South, and then one of my other mates got tipped from Loddon. Tipped means got kicked out for fighting or whatever. And so when he came back, he was telling me all this stuff, and we're walking, and this one day he started walking funny, and then he was telling me all these symptoms that he had, and I was like, bro, it sounds like you got MS. And he started laughing. He's like, ha ha ha. And then fast forward 6 months, that exact guy got diagnosed with MS as well. I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. It was like, wow. And diagnosed with MS. So as it stands, when it started, as you know, I said I had 7 or 8 spots. It's called demyelination. And then, so I now have somewhere between 19 and 24 spots. And so my spots are all around my cerebellum. So what it does is it attacks your central nervous system, and that's exactly what it does. And the demyelination spots is basically a spot where your cord is eating away at itself, or at the myelin, which is on the outside of your central nervous system. And so, in the past 5 or 6 years, I've had some crazy things happen. I've woke up and not been able to use both my legs at all. I've spent times where I haven't been able to use my left arm, my right arm. It's been pretty crazy, but I'm all for holistic medicine, and I was on hardcore morphine for it, and I've since stopped that, and I am on medicinal cannabis, and that's been a godsend in itself. And I know a lot of people still have their stigma about cannabis, but I do get mine prescribed by the doctor, and I do get vapes, flower, so buds, and oil as well. So there's many different things you can get. And really, so when medical cannabis first came out, multiple sclerosis patients were going to be the first people off the mark to get it. And so, like, I was told about it from the very start, and so that's when we started doing that. So I am licensed, so I can carry up to 52 grams on me at a time. You're not allowed to smoke outside your house, though. You're not allowed to smoke in public or anything like that. But yeah, that's really, really helped me. And not only that, I got off all the other, they're hard drugs, morphine and that, and they lead down very bad paths. And so I'm glad I did that. And so here I am today telling you guys about it. And it still spins me out that I've got it. And it's still a very, very unknown about disease. And there is treatments for it. Like, I am on medication for it, but the medication, some of the side effects of the medication is worse than the actual treatment. So I'm on the only tablet you can take that's a tablet and not injectable. I don't want to have needles in my house. I've got young kids, But yeah, there you go, guys. That's me and my diagnosis with multiple sclerosis while I was in jail. It was a big kick in the pants, but we're very far past that at the moment. So yeah, I've been the Chaos Chronicles. You guys have been absolutely awesome, as always. Chuck us a comment up there, chuck us a subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell. That way you will never, ever miss a video of mine again. Thank you very much, guys.